So I was watching Del Bigtree last night, and in America, it's finally come out and admitted that the total death percentage for the bullshit is 0.26%, less than 0.3, and we're all locked down. There's similar percentages in this country. But what Dale went on to point out was the flu zone, which is the top #1 flu poison in America, has a death rate of 0.6%. So if the bullshit has a death rate of less than 0.3% and we're all locked up, jailed, imprisoned, yet flu zone kills 0.6%, more than double the bullshit death rate. Can you see this scam yet? And if not, why not? The same thing's happening in this country. We're being lied to and deceived by a corrupt criminal cabal known as government. And if you don't wake up and start standing up and grow a backbone, I don't mean you lot, I mean those that don't listen to my channel or haven't seen it, then you're going to end up dead. I can't say any more simple than that. You're headed to a concentration camp if you don't wake the F up. Here's an episode of Friends. Oh look, Friends. Bill Clinton, paedophile. Andy, paedophile. Epstein, paedophile. Jimmy Savile, big paedophile. Prince Charlie, paedophile. Friends, eh? With friends like that, you should be in jail. When someone sends a demon your way, but they don't know how powerful you are. Let's see who else has got friends. Oh, look at this. Oh, look who he's friends with. A paedophile, a procurer for paedophiles, and probably a paedophile. That's Ghislaine. Of course, but didgeridoo, another paedophile, and another head paedophile. You know, when people hang around with paedophiles, like in that first clip, the Friends, you know what that suggests, don't you? Just suggestion, I'm not saying it is, but when you hang around with this group, you usually have to be one of them. This is Dallas. These loads of bricks are placed randomly on the corners of streets the nights of these riots. Just a coincidence. You're naive if you don't think there are major political strategies behind these spontaneous riots. Share because fake news won't. Ocean View Auto Parts will close its doors starting this Saturday, May 23rd, 2020. We apologise to all our wonderful customers, but we have been given our first up to $5,000 citation for not making our customers wear a mask and in our private business. This is government overreach. It's a dictatorship as well. And we won't be party to this trampling on our rights as well as yours. Our ancestors put their lives on the line for the liberty and freedoms we enjoy today. Well, sort of. We will not bow to tyranny. We have been warned that we will receive an additional citation every day we remain open and don't force our customers to wear a mask. Thus, starting tomorrow, we will no longer be open for business. We will not bow to tyranny. Now, while we're on this subject, hundreds, and I do mean hundreds if not thousands now, of doctors have come out and said it is detrimental to your health to wear these masks. You end up hyperventilating, breathing in the carbon dioxide, breathing in your own mucus and spit that you keep while you're talking and breathing. But don't worry, the government have got your best interests at heart. That's why they want you to wear a mask so you can poison yourself. Oh, and it also causes respiratory problems. Tyranny. Stand up or you will be trampled by it. So let me get this right. You can trace and track a cold virus, because that's all it is, but you can't trace and track establishment paedophiles. A tiny, minute, so small you need a microscope to see it. Infection, the common cold basically, with actually this bullshit has a less death rate than the common cold. But you can't find all those paedophiles in Parliament that are raping children, then killing them after torturing them, and then drinking the adrenochromized blood. If you lot don't stand up, maybe you deserve what's coming. Freemason and crisis actor. This is the guy, I think, leaning on the head of George. This is him, Benjamin Ray Bailey, from TV show Cash Cab. Any questions? Yes, it was a scam. Yes, it was a setup. And apparently this George was worked with the police anyway. So whether he actually died or not is anybody's guess. But the one thing we do know is that they're never going to tell us. And they're going to try and hide it as best they can, if they can. We are all being played. Divide and conquer. If they keep us fighting with each other, we will never fight the true enemy, the establishment. Divide and conquer mechanisms. Skin colour, nationality, sexual identity, religion, language, profession, class, social customs, political identity. If you've not had enough. Greta Thunberg, a 17-year-old Swedish girl with zero, nada, nil, no experience in microorganism, gets unsolicited free airtime to speak about the bullshit on the mainstream media. But these doctors, with a combined experience of 100 years of routinely censored from corporate media. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee, otherwise you're going to be marching towards a concentration camp, for your own good, of course. The Simpsons did it again, from the 1990s. Simpsons predicting everything, police stations burning. Justice for George. It's all there, it's all a setup, we're all being played, and if we don't wake up, well, the time may have already gone for that. But at least be aware when you're off to the chambers. World population, 7,782,797,552, although it may have gone up or down a little bit since then. Bullshit deaths, 265,238, gives you a percentage of 0.003%. This is what the world has stopped for. If this doesn't show you the Illuminati control every government on the planet, and if you lot, not you lot listening, but those that hopefully you're going to share this video with, if you lot don't wake the F up, you're going to be walking to a concentration camp saying, you know what, it turns out them crazy conspiracy theorists, although I like to think of myself as a conspiracy investigator, were right all along. Maybe it's time we did that petition where we demand the prosecution of this conspiracy causing Zionist, more than likely paedophile, child raping, murdering, adrenochrome drinking shit, Matt Wancock. Just 111 deaths were at the lowest level since lockdown began. On the 31st of May, DHSC reported 113 fatalities, deaths, whatever you want. Daily bullshit deaths confirmed as with a positive test. 38,489 total bullshit deaths confirmed with a positive test. Next day, the very next day, one day later, less than 24 hours, On 1st of June, DHSC reported 111 daily bullshit deaths confirmed with a positive test. 39,045 total bullshit deaths confirmed with a positive test. I just hope nobody gets their calculators out. Yes, Matt, high treason is still an executable offence. And it's time you got your just comings. Strange that, isn't it? Just comings. Because, you know, you can go anywhere you want. You always could. Because under the law of comings and goings, you can go anywhere you want, anytime you want. Rules only apply to you. She isn't an activist. She's a paid puppet. So I found these photos of previous little Greta Thunberg. So do you think she's part of the elite? Then look at the pictures, all 5 of them. Oh dear, poor old Greta. The new normal, or as it should more correctly be called, the new abnormal. Satellite tracking, brain blockers, muzzle mask, chip implant, rubber spine, social distancing sensor, back off, you're too close, removed gender, mandatory phone tracking, poison ID, travel license, social score, digital wallet, endless vaccines. This is the world we're heading to if everyone that's not watching my channels and paying attention to what's going on, this is where we're headed for those that don't end up in concentration camps. George Floyd protests spread. Thousands block LA Freeway, Minneapolis, ablaze amid looting. Now, this looting isn't by the protesters. This is by agent provocateurs. And you're going to see a hyped up amount of this sort of shit because they are scared and they are desperate. Tear gas is flowing in Minneapolis as night 2 of the George Floyd protests begin. Bearing in mind, there's a good possibility that George Floyd isn't even dead. AutoZone fire at 3rd precinct growing fast. People giving wide latitude now for safety. Unicorn riot. Standoff between protesters and police continues in Minneapolis with St. Paul Police Department moving in to assist. Our Minneapolis George Floyd protest stream is back up now with increased quality. We will stay live for you, networks permitting. The protests that started yesterday in Minneapolis over the alleged death of George Floyd and escalated today, including the looting at least one Target store, has sparked a violent anti-police protest in LA with thousands blocking the 101 freeway and attacking cop cars. Well, I've seen a video actually where the cops during a riot were smashing up their own car to blame on the protest. So just bear that in mind. Breaking news, Black Lives Matter protesters attacking police cars on 101 freeway in LA during protests. Again, it's all divide and conquer. Unfortunately, the agent provocateurs will, even if they were the only ones turning up, they'd still be doing it. Trump to sign social media executive order on Thursday after fact check, political bias exposed. Update 1830 ET. Following up on earlier threats, a White House spokesperson who confirmed that President Trump will sign an executive order on social media tomorrow, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany made the remark to reporters aboard Air Force One, traveling with Trump to Washington from Florida. There are no details of what the order will contain. However, Republican Matt Gaetz, I better not be the same relative. Yep, I digress. Said today that he is working with Republican members of the House Judiciary Committee to craft legislation that would strip social media giants of their Section 230 legal immunity if they fact check content on their platforms. Good. A lot of people don't see that Facebook and Twitter, you see Twitter disadvantaging the president, they enjoy liability protection that are not enjoyed by your local newspaper or your local TV station, although they're full of shit anyway, or Fox News, again full of shit, or CNN, absolute fake news, or MSNBC, utter fake news. They have special benefits under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act as digital platforms because they are not creating content for which they should be liable. They're not making decisions about content, they're simply saying, come one, come all, with any content. And as a consequence of that, they're getting a bunch of protections. Leading UK epidemiologist. Pubs, nightclubs, restaurants could reopen without serious risk. Of course they could, because there's no frigging virus. And if there is, it's less dangerous than the flu or the common cold. Wake up! A prominent Oxford epidemiologist has reportedly called for a more rapid exit from Britain's lockdowns, saying the bullshit is on its way out of Britain after infecting as much as half the population. And how many deaths again? Just remind me. Oh yes, 0.3. Professor Sanita Gupta says there would be a strong possibility that pubs, nightclubs and restaurants in Britain could reopen without serious risk from the bullshit. The professor of theoretical epidemiology at the University of Oxford said the UK had most likely erred on the side of overreaction in its handling of the crisis, suggesting imposing the lockdown, the imprisonment, the lockup itself was one such misstep. Professor Gupta told Unheard.com the government had brought in the lockdown because of the worst case scenario modelling of the Imperial College London. Oh, wait a minute. Who gives millions and millions of pounds to that particular... Oh, yes. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So they're going to come out on Bill and Melinda Gates' side, aren't they? In March, Imperial College's working suggested bullshit had a death to cases ratio of higher than 1.4%. As I pointed out, it's bullshit, reducing to 0.66% when allowing for underdiagnosed cases. In other words, and this goes for almost every country, 95+% of those that have died were expected to die this year anyway. Professor Gupta's Oxford team produced a rival model also in March, speculating as much as 5% of Britain's population may have already been infected and suggesting an infection fatality rate of as low as 0.1%, which he says would be far lower now. Bill Gates' Instagram page flooded with people calling for his arrest for crimes against humanity. Bill Gates planned to save the world, poison the world. Oh no, it does say save the world, but I think I was right when I said poison the world, by rolling out a potentially mandatory poison for the bullshit and suggesting nobody will be allowed to resume normal life without a digital certificate. To prove they have been poisoned is proving extremely unpopular with internet users. Now let's not forget, this digital certificate has been tried before. Do you recall when? Yes? No? I'll tell you then. Allegedly under Adolf Hitler. Only then it was called Papers, Please. We're heading for that if you don't wake the F up. Instagrammers are hitting back against Bill Gates, punishing his posts with thousands upon thousands of angry messages telling him to stop experimenting with the health of lesser humans or expect to be charged with crimes against humanity, which he should be anyway. Money doesn't give you any rights against the people. You need to be charged for crimes against humanity, and I absolutely agree, said Skritsandramir in a comment that garnered hundreds of likes. I look forward to watching you trial, said Cician in a comment that also picked up hundreds of likes. Many users also commented on the fact Bill Gates has been deleting the torrent of critical comments from his page. Good luck deleting comments, Billy boy. They will keep on coming and coming and coming. Kinda like those computer viruses you love so much, wrote one. Social distancing is a fantasy. There, I've said it. And now you've heard it. You can't unhear it. Let's stop pretending that this is going to work. It isn't. Let go of the comfort blanket because, like it or not, every individual citizen is going to make their own risk assessment, use their common sense and make their own decisions about how to live their lives. Stay away from everyone is a clear message, but not credible. Stay alert. We'll just have to do. During the surreal early weeks of the imprisonment, the notion of long-term social distancing seemed logical and sensible, but as the weeks rolled by, the utter ludicrousness of it became apparent. Matt Wancock helped to emphasise the absurdity of it all when he said that it will not be possible to hug anyone outside of our household until the bullshit has totally sorted. Utter bollocks. If you saw the video, we were all in town on Saturday. We were hugging, we were gathering around each other, we were shaking hands because everyone that was there knows that this is a scam-demic. Oh look, corporate Australia. A look into the corporate fraud in Australia. Stranglehold of monopolies, telecommunications oppression, biased law system, corporate influence in politics, industrial relations disadvantaging workers, outsourcing Australian jobs, offshore banking, petrochemical company domination, invisible, visible. It's not what you see, it's what goes on behind the scenes. And as you can see there, Criminal Code 1995, not valid. Commonwealth of Australia 1901, may not be valid as well now the Queen's gone. Oh, I didn't know. Never mind about it. If you don't know about that, I won't bother you with it. Proof the government is dodgy. Well, you could have knocked me over with a feather. Bullshit safe app code. How do you stop your code from being looked at or scrutinised? You make an offer a person has to refuse. In this case of the Australian government, it is the following manner. I am responsible for any costs of third-party claims associated with my access to the app code and must pay those claims on request. There's the source there, although links as usual will be in the description if you want to see the whole article because I've only got the first 2 pages, I think. Do you comprehend? A different meaning to understand, and of course for all those that get what understand means, when the police arrest you, they read you your rights and then they say, do you understand? And I know the majority of you get what that means. It means, for those that don't, do you stand under my authority? And there's a video out there when I got arrested coming down off Tom Crawford's roof where they do that to me and he says, do you understand? And I say, no, but I comprehend. Can you legally agree to something like this? Quite simply put, if there is a claim against your person for viewing the code, the best action is not to pay. Never pay. Get them to take you to a court of law regarding their so-called claim. German official leaks report denouncing bullshit as a global false alarm. A lot of stuff that could have knocked me over with a feather today. Germany's federal government and mainstream media are engaged in a damage control after a report that challenges the established bullshit narrative leaked from the Interior Ministry. Some of the report key passages are: the dangerousness of bullshit was overestimated. Shock. Probably at no point did the danger by the new scare device go beyond the normal level. The people who die from bullshit are essentially those who would statistically die this year, because they have reached the end of their lives and their weakened bodies can no longer cope with any random everyday stress, including the approximately 150 things currently in circulation. Worldwide, within a quarter of a year, there has been no more than 250,000 deaths from the bullshit, compared to 1.5 million deaths, 25,100 in Germany, during the influenza wave of 2017-2018. Why are we locked down again? Why are we imprisoned again? Why have we been locked up against our best interests again? Oh yeah, because government knows best. The danger is obviously no greater than that of many other of them things. There is no evidence that this was more than a false alarm. I'd call it something different. A reproach could go along these lines. During the bullshit, the state has proved itself as one of the biggest producers of fake news. So far, so bad, but it gets worse. The report focuses on the manifold and heavy consequences of the bullshit measures and warns that these are grave. Many people are dying because of state-imposed bullshit measures than they are being killed by that stuff. The reason is a scandal in the making. The bullshit-focused German healthcare system is postponing life-saving surgery and delaying or reducing treatment for non-bullshit patients. Berlin in denial mode. The scientists fight back. Initially, the government tried to dismiss the report as the work of one employee and its contents as his own opinion, while the journalists closed ranks, no questions asked with the politicians. But the 93 pages report, titled Analysis of the Crisis Management, has been drafted by a scientific panel appointed by the ministry and composed by external medical experts from several German universities. The report was the initiative of the Department of the Interior Ministry, called Unit KM4, and in charge with the protection of critical infrastructures. This is also where the German official turned whistleblower Stephen Korn worked, and from where he leaked it to the media. The authors of the report issued a joint press release already on May 11th, berating the government for ignoring expert advice and asking for the Interior Minister to officially comment upon the experts' joint statement. Hemp batteries are even more powerful than lithium and graphene, new study shows. Hemp is a wonder crop. It's an incredibly versatile plant that can be used for a huge range of purposes. Also for neutralizing radioactivity in the soil. It leaches it out and gets rid of it. It re-earths the planet. Should be grown everywhere like it used to be before the invention of antibiotics. Used in the sustainable manufacturing of clothing, food and paper, as well as having huge industrial purposes, new research is now suggesting that hemp batteries are even more powerful than lithium or graphene. On his popular YouTube channel, Robert Murray Smith discussed the experiment. Smith began by observing a volts by amps curve of both the hemp and lithium batteries. To his initial surprise, the power underneath the hemp cell was a value of 31, while that of the lithium cell had a value of just 4. Smith modestly claims that he really hasn't done anything remarkable. He states that the result of the experiment simply shown that the performance of the hemp cell is significantly better than its lithium counterpart. While this might be the first time you're hearing of hemp's ability to act as a great power source, the discovery isn't new, but it has been hidden from us and kept from us all. Blood tests in Japan reveal bullshit mortality is lower than influenza. Kobe City, General Medical Hospital study of 1,000 blood samples, only 0.01% died of bullshit. The prudence of scientists, do not let your guard down. Tokyo. The mortality of bullshit could be far lower than what scientists had previously believed. Even 1 in 10,000. This is what emerges from a study conducted by Kobe City Medical Center General Hospital that collected 1,000 blood samples from patients who visited the hospital in late March and early April. Previously believed, even 1 in 10,000. This is what emerges from a study conducted by Kobe City Medical Center General Hospital that collected 1,000 blood samples from patients who visited the hospital in late March and early May. Patients with the bullshit symptoms were excluded from the sample. Of those 1,000, 33 people, or 3.3%, tested positive for bullshit antibodies. If the analysis were confirmed by further tests in other prefectures of Japan, the mortality of bullshit would plummet to 0.01%, or even lower than the seasonal flu. The doctors who performed the test remain cautious as they are still samples taken exclusively from outpatients. But the director of the hospital, Kira Kasuki, has, however, reiterated that there is a high possibility that many more people have actually been infected from bullshit with respect to the hypothesis made so far. To these data are added hundreds of patients affected by the seasonal flu who had already noticed unusual symptoms in January. Kobe is one of the most cosmopolitan Japanese cities, so that bullshit arrived here already at the end of last year is not at all improbable. This discovery could have significantly consequences, not only from a physiological but also a practical point of view. It could lead to a lightening of the emergency measures taken starting from mid-April. Closing off schools, cancellation of events and requests to clubs and restaurants to remain closed. And it is this matter recommendation that has had the most devastating repercussions. When the curve of the infected by bullshit returns to levels that are no longer alarming, it will be necessary to count not so much excess deaths caused by it, but those due to the consequences of the closure of the economy, which will probably be higher than those caused by the bullshit. YouTube sent me a nice little letter yesterday. Hi Mark Salon. As you may know, our community guidelines describe which content we allow and what we don't allow on YouTube. Your video, Who Really Controls Your Government, was flagged to us for review. Upon review, they never did, we've determined that it violates our guidelines and we removed it from YouTube. We know that this might be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think that we've made a mistake, you can appeal and we'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. Piss off YouTube! And that's why you need to get over to BitChute, because Who Really Controls Your Government is still on BitChute. Stuff they don't want you to know. Social distancing isn't actually derived from social isolation. An MK Ultra tactic developed by the CIA in the early 1960s and consistently deployed since then against enemies of the state. The CIA determined it was the ideal tool by which to destroy another human being, preferable to even physical torture. I did it on FaceAche. I did, as well as the usual searches for fact checker and fact check, and I decided to just search for fact, and I found almost 100 of those fact checking bullshit lying bastards in my thing, and I had to delete them one by one. So I suggest you go to your settings, blocking, search fact, hit return, and however many you've got, you have to block them individually, unfortunately, because Face 8 didn't want you blocking them all in one go, but as I'll show you, well, I won't bother showing you, just go and see it yourself and check it yourself. Now, you remember right at the beginning I showed that picture of Bojo pointing at you. The rules only apply to you. Well, Boris Johnson's sister, Rachel, flouts lockdown to stay at second home. The Prime Minister's sister has been accused of breaking his lockdown rules just a week after allegations emerged against his chief advisor. You see, them rules only apply to us. They don't apply to these. When are you going to get that? Oh, wait, hold on. No. Strike that and reverse it. The rules only apply to them. They do not apply to us. Rachel Johnson has allegedly been splitting her time between the family farm in Exmoor and in Somerset and her Notting Hill property in London. Government lockdown rules have banned visits to second homes and switching between different households. Ms Johnson had previously stated she was staying in the Somerset home with her husband and daughter, but as an essential worker she had been travelling to the capital to host her Friday evening LBC radio show. Reports and images have emerged suggesting that the PM's younger sister has been staying overnight at her West London residence with her 2 sons and staying and playing tennis with friends. After her show on Friday, Ms Johnson returned to her Notting Hill home, according to the Mirror, before she met with friends to play tennis on Saturday and got a lift home with a man pictured in tennis gear, reports said. She took a train back to Somerset later that day. Images taken on Saturday show the man dropping Miss Johnson off at her property, while another shows her, also in tennis clothing, talking to a woman on a pavement with 2 dogs. The rules only apply to you, not us. The burden is never life. It's what you're thinking and believing about life. If you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rule of fools. Plato.
If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic and/or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent. For the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Joseph Goebbels.
For those of you who have raised concerns about being stuck inside a plane, all breathing the same air when the lockdown finishes, I give you bullshit airline. And if that doesn't work, well, we've also got the new social distancing flights now available. Sack me and I'll tell them you never had bullshit. Cleaned the TV screen with antivirus wipes. Lost BBC News. Will shapeshift for £1. This picture from World War II, a soldier carrying a donkey. It is not that the soldier loves donkeys or has some sort of perversion. What's happening is that the field is mined, and that if the donkey was free to wander off as it pleased, it would likely detonate a charge and kill everyone. The moral of the story is that during difficult times, the first ones you have to keep under control are the jackasses. I think that should be governments, who don't understand the danger and do as they please. Yeah, definitely the governments. Conspiracy theorists a year ago. A worldwide event is coming. Economic crash, cashless societies, social credit system, lockdowns, martial law, forced vaccinations, the one world government, loss of freedoms, the mark of the beast. Conspiracy theorists today. Check out this idiot. Conspiracy theorists today. Told you so. Hello, CNN. I have information that Kim is dead. Please wait here until you realise your government is brainwashing you.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.